Okay, we are now in okay. Citizens' remarks, complaints, etc.
John Ambrose.
Yeah, two things. First thing, Judy Hamilton. I'm here on behalf of the Piedmont Housing, and our Board of Commissioners, Judy Hamilton, has resigned. She had some health issues and whatever, but anyway, we want to put Sky Dawson's name before the council for approval to fill her seat on the housing board. So that'll be up to you. So.
I think Sky would do an excellent job.
Yeah, I do too. We talked about it, like I said, I think she'll do well.
Well, we're gonna have to put it on the agenda though, Joel.
That's fine, that's
To
fine.
vote on it next.
Yeah, that's no problem, that's,
Got that?
Well,
put that on the agenda.
The one housing
for Scott
appointment.
And the second thing I had is, it may be a rumor, I don't know, but I understand that Piedmont's gonna put in for emergency funding to tap into Western Port's water line. Is there any truth to that?
Yes, there is.
Well, I like to go on record as, personally, I think that's a mistake. Because once you tap into Western Port's water line, the next thing they're gonna want your withdrawal permit. And then after they get your withdrawal permit, you are Piedmont's gonna be at their mercy.
Well, they're not asking for a withdrawal permit, and this
Yeah.
is an emergency situation. It is gonna be a tap, but it's a temporary tap.
Okay, that's temporary.
Let me explain this whole thing to you.
Okay,
First off, our water line's 120 years old when
I
it came from
understand
the
that.
dam. Our dam's depleted, and you look at the funding agencies, they won't fund that whole project when this line's already there. And, you know, we've been through this for 4 years now.
well,
I probably.
we've been on Luke's water since, 2009.
I understand that. But
And,
I mean, we've been working on this raw water project for the past 4 years. And it's been an issue coming up about funding and everything else. And in order to get us away from the mill and out from underneath them, this is the way the funding agency says that we have to go. Now, there might be something to what you're saying, but according to what my understanding is, that we're not giving up any rights to our water line, we're not giving up any rights to our right-of-ways, but we are obtaining another right-of-way to get us across the bridge.
yeah.
This whole thing has become a big blown-out deal. So first off, for us to get anywhere other than the way we take it down through the mill's yard and underneath their building and across CSX tracks, or well, right in the middle of CSX tracks. In order for us to take another route, we're gonna have to have a way of coming down across the mill property and into the wood yard. Or across the wood yard, across the bridge, and then across their, I guess it would call receiving and delivery area. We have a permit to come under the tracks there and come on up. But the CSX on the other side requires a permit. That's going to be another issue. This is supposed to be a temporary crossing across the bridge by going over the bridge.
Which bridge you talking about there?
Over there at the,
The wooden bridge. The wooden bridge?
yeah,
The wooden bridge by the receiving warehouse.
We're already on that though, right?
yeah, but they're wanting us to take the liability of that, to come across there. And that seems to be a pretty big liability when you look at it in the long-term situation. If you're looking at the Maryland Bridge Inspection Department, you know, it's really costly to do an annual inspection or a 7-year inspection of that bridge. Piedmont can't take the liability of that. So in order to make this a permanent project, it's going to have to be lineal bored across the river. That's gonna be in the project to do that. But temporary solution to get us out of there, out of the way of the mill and onto our water supply, that's gonna be a horse of a different color, because it's gonna take somewhere in the neighborhood of a year to 18 months to get all the permits to come under the river.
See, I'm very good friends with Tom Smith, and Tom Smith was the mayor of Westernport. And Tom Smith put that trunk line in from Savage on down here. And when he put that in, he told me with his own mouth that they put that valve up there right across from our wooden bridge. And his plans, his long-term plans was to sell water to Piedmont. That's why that valve's there. They just didn't, they could have just run a straight line. They didn't. They put that valve there, and that's what that was for.
Yeah.
And he talked about being in the water business, selling water to Piedmont. And once he got us on their water, then it'd be get your withdrawal permit, and then, like I said, we'd be at their mercy now. And here's my point, just like we've been looking down this barrel for 10 years now.
Yep.
And I've said things before, but nobody's paid attention. But now, well, you wasn't here for all of it,
Well, for 4 years I've paid attention.
But like I said, I've said it before, but like I said, I don't want to see us have to get to the point where we buy water off Westernport on a permanent basis. If it's a temporary thing, I don't have a problem with that. But
Well, you can't say how this whole thing's gonna go. I mean, we're not gonna give up any of our right-of-ways, so we can't be independent. But the only way the funding agencies is gonna do this, there's been a feasibility study to all this. They wanted us to buy clear water off of Westernport, come across Potomac down here. That would have put us in worse shape than buying raw water, to my opinion. If our plant would go for a year without being used, how water plants deplete, I mean, it would be done for. It would never reopen. So in order to keep our water plant open, the price that Westernport quoted us for water is not gonna really hurt us per se, because we're gonna be getting better water.
that'd be all right.
I disagree with that.
If we got it for, if we got it in writing where, that this is what we was gonna get it for, but like, say we hooked into them and then a couple of years down the road, they said, well, where we was charging you so much per gallon, because they're gonna meter. So instead of us charging you a half% a gallon, we're gonna charge you 2 cents a gallon or something, and raise it up on it. And that's what I'm afraid of, and if they do, our water rates are gonna go.
Well, I'm afraid of that too, and we got lawyers looking into this whole deal.
Well, like I said, if they do any deal with Westernport, I certainly hope they have their thinking hats on when they do it, but.
Well, there's a lot of thought going into this. It ain't just a fall off the bridge type of deal. It's being investigated. We got Steptoe and Johnson consultants working on it. We also got Nelson Michaels looking over all the contracts. In fact, there ain't been a contract yet. Let me put it that way. But as far as giving up any of our rights to be able to be independent, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, once you give them up, you'll never get them back.
Well,
That's
if
something
we
to keep
give
in
up,
mind.
if we give up all the dam and stuff up there, we'll never get it back.
That's true, but we own that property up on Savage.
You're right.
That belongs to the city of
Yeah.
Piedmont.
And our right-of-way remains in effect.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways of looking at this, and some of your concerns I actually do appreciate, because we're looking into this whole deal.
Yeah,
And-
well, I guess we have to, yeah.
But, for us to sustain ourselves, you might say, by getting raw water, this is the sensible approach.
It may be, like I said, all I'm saying is, whatever decisions are made, I just hope they're made with, with good judgment in mind, that's all I'm saying. If it comes down to where you can't get water, and the only place in the world to get it is from Westernport, then you don't have much of a choice.
Well,
And I
another,
understand that, but I'm saying, I'd like to see us look at everything else before we go to there, because,
well,
like you said-
we've looked at it, several times, and the funding agencies just won't fund putting new pipeline all the way from the Savage down this way.
no, we can't do that, but we do have a line there, it's a usable line.
Yeah, it's not connected to nothing though. It's still connected to, the only way you could do it was connect it to Western Port's line again, up by the wood yard.
I understand that line is tied in clean down to the Loop Mill.
It is, but it's not tied into no supply. The raw water line coming out of, coming down from the Savage, it's not tied into that.
You may be right, I won't argue that point with you, but I talked to people that worked on it, said they didn't dig the road up there, they brought the water line from down through Savage, and they tied into the old line underneath the road, and the new line that we put on the other side of the road where the railroad tracks used to be, and that's all tied in.
Well, all of the engineering and permitting says it's not. Now, I wasn't there when it
They know
happened.
better than I then.
Well, me too, because I wasn't there when it happened either. But, but it's, from what the engineering, specs show, it's not tied in. In fact, a place up there by the wood yard that goes on out through there and dead ends. That's my understanding. And it's in all the engineering things say that's true. Now, this pipeline, when it went out along 135 there, I don't know if there was ever engineering done to it. Was it just a pipe that was dug and put in, or?
Well, we did. Mickey, when Mickey Rocco was on the council, we put the, see, we used to have a pipeline down the middle of 135, and every time you had a leak from the log trucks or anything else, then you had to dig up the road, you had to get flagmen, you had to get permission from the Department of Highways in Maryland, and then flagmen, you had to have flagmen on there, and you couldn't let it, when you started digging, you couldn't quit till you was done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But we took that out. That's what I say up to Savage. We took that out from underneath the 135, and where the dinghy used to bring the wood down to the mill over, they took those railroad tracks up, and that's a brand new water line down through, a brand new. We have never flown an ounce of water through that line that come to our reservoir yet.
I know that's a fact, but
I know, yeah.
you know, there's some things being looked into that line too, but still yet, for to get a tap in it, it's either got to go to the paper mill and get a tap, or it's got to go tap onto the Western Port line up the stream.
I'm not gonna stand here and take up everybody's time on it, but I would like to talk to you on that, because I don't think everything that has been done is known about, because, I mean, I kept up on that, because they used to be water commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what was there, and I know where the lines come from, and I know what we did. And, but like I said, I'd like to talk to you sometime about that. Like I said, I won't
Sure.
take up everybody's time
Hey,
here.
anytime
but,
you get some time, let me
well,
know.
Okay, that's what I say. I'd like to talk about that with you, and then, like I said, you can have your meeting today. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about that all day, but,
All right, well, yeah, we'll get together here very soon.
well, we can get some people, I know people that knows what's been done there, and we can get to them, and we can find out just exactly what has been done or what hasn't been done, and, then we'll know what we have, because like I said, nothing, when we go from council and mayors and we elect new ones and stuff, and it just kind of, things get lost.
I know.
And nobody knows what was done, and you have to go back and find out who did what and when it was done, and what, you know, like I said, and that's what I'm saying. We could talk to some people and find out what was done. We might be in better shape than what we thought. We might be in worse shape than what we thought. I don't know, but we'll find out. So, look, sometimes, me and you can, if you want to talk, I'll see you, and we'll talk about that and find out.
Yes, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, that's
Because
good.
there's
That's
a
all
lot
I
of
have.
things I don't know about the way this line is. You know, I've been here pretty much all my life, but I wasn't into any kind of business with the line. I mean, I knew they was putting it in, and that was about it. That's where it went.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I said, I won't take up your time. That's all I have, you know.
All right.
Pat?
I don't want to beat a dead horse, that's why I come here about the water line. I just want to reiterate the fact that I came here after the Labor Day shutdown in 2017 because we almost got shut off from raw water from the mill. I had a concern at that time getting off our backup service, getting back on our line. And I mean, as far as Ben says, there's no doubt that you should probably look at this and all that, but I know in the short stint that I was mayor in 2009, we laid a bunch of new line in Savage. And then later on, they laid all that new line down 135, and it was tied in on each side of it. They didn't dig up 135, and they made the tie in on each side. And they ran it all the way to the gate going to the mill. And Yoder's prior to that did pipe work in the mill. And then the city went up and replaced the 10-inch valve inside that gate. So you should have good pipe all the way down to that filter plant.
Well, that's some of the things that I don't know, Pat. And, you know, I get told all kinds of stories. You know, you and I discussed this before.
Yeah.
And
Like John said, I don't know, you know, with changing the guard and all that all the time, nobody knows what's going on. Somebody leaves here, they don't tell nobody else anything. And, I mean, as far as where that water line runs, I mean, we lost money. I don't know if you realize, we lost revenue because for the last 10 years, because we weren't charging any bills to the mill over here for water usage over here in exchange for that raw water. So we lost a considerable amount of money
you're right.
in revenue.
And this is one of the things that I'm taking into consideration about the tap on the Western Port side. You know, let's face it, they got a pretty new pipe up there. And the price that they was going to charge us per 1,000 gallon, to my opinion, was very fair. But, you know, to go long term, I don't think it should happen, and maybe something will happen that we don't have to do that. But, you know, we can sit and think about everything that we would like to see, but to get it funded is another thing.
Yeah.
And the funding agencies don't like the way we really want to do it.
Well, they told us when I was water commissioner, they will not fund raw water transportation. They'll only do finished water. They will not fund raw water.
That's what I'm hearing, but I don't want to shut our plant down.
But my biggest concern is no attempt's been made to even get any water through that pipe and get back on our raw water. And as far as having good water in Westernport, I disagree with that. Piedmont had the best water they ever had, this whole area. You're getting water from Westernport off the bottom of Savage Dam.
It's still coming from the Savage, really.
But it's not the same. It is not the same, I'm telling you. You got all that algae to deal with and everything on the bottom of that dam, but that's neither here nor there. But when they proposed letting us hook to that line, it was going to cost, this is 10 years ago now, it was going to be $75,000 for the meter, set the meter and everything. And then Westernport proposed a price at us, I forget what it was, like a penny a gallon or whatever it was. But Allegheny County stepped in and said, no, it's going to be double that. So Allegheny County Public Works stepped in on it. So I imagine because the funding comes from the state of Maryland. We've never had good water in this town since we got off that our raw water. That's my biggest concern. I mean, I don't mean to take up your time to argue with you.
I'm glad to hear about this because I've been stressing over this for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and you know, 3 or 4 years ago you and I talked about this.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely concerned about it. And I mention it here in about every meeting. And where we go with this, you know, we can't afford to put out no $3.5 million to put a pipeline down through
The
there.
citizens can't afford, I mean, if you just go buy water Westernport, usually gonna have no alternative but to raise the rates.
Well, I don't know as though, if it is a rate increase, it's only gonna come out to like anywhere from $1.50 to $2 a month.
That's it,
Well,
that's
That's
today.
proposed.
That's what I was saying about it, that's
Well, this
today.
is, what we got going on here, there's gonna be at least a 5-year.
5 years goes by quick, man.
It does, John, and I understand that, but let's face it, we're under an emergency situation here, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to do something to get it out from under the mill's foot. And that's just, there's several options going on. And, the only way the funding agencies do it is the way, you can't just pick how you wanna do it. And it should be that if it's your line, but if they're gonna fund it, they wanna do it the way they wanna do it. And I've been doing this dance for 4 years. I don't know how many times to Charleston.
And I agree with you, we're in an emergency situation now, but what disturbs me is, I brought that to the town's attention 1.5 years ago, and I'm not saying nothing's been done. I know you in the background, you've been trying to do something, but the town, I don't see why the town couldn't have, worked on bringing that line outside of those railroad tracks. I think that's the biggest stepping stone they have to getting that line in service, getting out of the railroad. And I don't know why they could bring that up over the hill and take it down, that street along there. And-
Well, there's permitting involved into that.
Oh, I
too.
agree, but
And
but
the permits is not,
you're gonna have an obstacle either way you go. You're gonna, if you keep it in the railroad and you have to dig it up, the railroad's gonna give you fits, you gotta hire flaggers and all that. There's gonna be, I just had a feeling, when that happened in Labor Day of 2017, this day was gonna come. I didn't expect the mill to close or announce closing, but I just figured this day was gonna come. And we were gonna be put in a situation where we couldn't handle.
well, I know that we won't be without water. I can pretty much assure that because of the officials that I've already spoke to and the engineering work that's already been done. All of this stuff required a feasibility study, and this feasibility study started back in the summer of 2016. It's been going on and back and forth about buying Westernport water, buying clean water off of Westernport, and then the metering system. Like you said, the meter is not going to be a real light cost either, but we got to get this thing funded somehow. So however you get it funded, it's probably not going to be what we want to do.
No, 'cause like I said, if you do get it funded, you're gonna have to pass that on to the customers. The customers, they're not
Well,
gonna afford that.
under this emergency situation, there's a slim possibility that it's going to be no cost.
Well, hopefully if that's the case.
If it's
I mean,
it's a grant from the EPA or the Infrastructure Council, one or the other. And I'm working on both ends, the rural water stepping in. I've talked to all the senators. I've talked to the governor's office. Shelley Capito was in here not long ago talking about this. Manchin was in here, and McKinley was in here.
Is there any funding available for ARC?
ARC, yes.
Okay.
And
Well, I hope that works out.
But getting it, there's guidelines to that.
Yeah.
You don't just walk up to them and tell them, hey, we want to put a 7-mile new pipeline down through there. We have the right of way to do such, but we don't have the right of way to do what you were saying about rerouting the line in the mill property.
Well, this would be outside of the mill property, that street.
Well,
That'd
yeah,
be the town of Luke's property, but.
well, that's feasible to come that way, but you still got to get across the mill property somehow.
Well, you come up over the hill from the pump.
It
Right.
does anyway. It comes down by the road behind the old Devon Club.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's where it comes
Street.
to. It goes into the mill, and it goes down to the pump, then it comes back up out and comes down that road. I don't know what street it is. It was the one behind the Devon Club where
Pratt Street.
it comes right down. Well, no, not up on the
One
Pratt
down
Street
below
side,
Pratt.
below it.
Oh, I thought that whole
And that
street
comes
was
down
Pratt.
because the mill had some lines that were, one line that was tied into that down through there, but on an emergency basis, they had a tie in there for fire protection and stuff.
I will say that the mill has been working with us as good as they, better than I expected them to.
Yeah.
And I've had several, we had one face-to-face meeting with them and several calls, conference calls. And they're trying to work with us, but I think it's simply because they want that liability of us away from them. And the next step is to be able to get funding for this, and a lot of it is not going to be exactly what we want.
Well, whatever happens, I sure like to get back on our water because the difference in your even treatment cost is gonna be reduced dramatically. I mean, you're talking about a hardness of 30 on our water and 200 on the mill water.
Well,
Because they get the water out of the tunnel.
Well, Dunn Engineering is looking into this, just like we talked about coming down across there, but there's so many places that has to be permitted because of gas
Oh, I'm
lines,
sure,
sewage
yeah.
lines, and
Yeah.
you can't put a water line so far away from the sewer line now.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of issues that no one sees, and I've been pulling what hair I have got out.
Well, let me ask you one more question. I'll get off this subject. I'll get out of your hair. Has anybody actually went to check to see where there is water in that line?
To my opinion, or to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
I'm going by a lot of stuff that I was told by T.I. and Johnny Shingler, which I understand they put the pipeline in.
Mm-hmm. They did.
And according to them, I get all kinds of different.
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't know if he objects to me mentioning his name, but I think you can gain a lot of information if you talk to Marcus Clay.
Well, I've talked to more.
Because even after Marcus left here, took a new job, he helped him put that line in. So he could tell you a lot about that line.
Well, all of these guys are kind of being questioned by our engineering service anyhow.
Yeah. Because it's my understanding, they hit about a year or so ago, they was drilling along the riverbank there, right outside that entrance gate, and drove
They hit our line.
a line down into our water line, and there was water. Now, whether it was our line or not, I can't say, but they hit water.
That's the big question. And according to the Luke guys, it was the Westernport line. But
See, Westport's line's not there.
Didn't go there.
Westport's
There's up on
line's
the
on
hill.
the edge
Up on
of
the
the
upper
road next
side
to the
there.
hillside. I remember they laid that.
well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm only going by what I hear because
yeah.
there's
Because I tried to get them, I tried to talk them into contacting the state of Maryland, allowing us to lay a new line in that ditch while they was laying theirs. But it never happened.
Well, that's no one wants to work together anymore.
No.
And it's just like this slide up on the hill. The gas company and us could have worked together and solved the problem pretty quickly. No, they gotta go their way and we gotta go ours and we're in each other's way. So, togetherness is the way to try to do things, but
Well, tri-towns don't work like they used to years ago. Everybody's out for, well, I'm not saying Piedmont is, but everybody else out for themselves. They don't want it, it's not the towns that we used to have.
Supper time.
Yeah. I'm sorry to take up much of your time. I
Hey,
apologize. Thank you for the
appreciate-
answers.
Good seeing you, Johnny.
I appreciate
I hope,
the
I hope we get somewhere with it. I hope the mill stays open, that's what I hope.
We're not gonna get exactly what we want, I can tell you that right now. But
Okay.
if we can get something that we can all live with, and still maintain water, that's, to my opinion, a big plus.
Okay. Yeah.
It's nice learning where the lines are too.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank
Brad,
you.
let me ask, I'm gonna ask a question. Hey, Brad.
Hey.
That water line is coming down around the turn, right? If my memory's right.
What turn?
Up at Loop, the big turn, it comes down there.
Right outside the Power Center?
Yes.
No, it goes inside the gate, the entrance
Right
gate,
there.
security gate,
At the filter plant.
and it goes down the middle of the road, and there's a tie-in at the filter plant. The double doors at the bottom of the filter plant, there's a valve there that ties into our line.
We used to
Then it
feed
goes
that.
down, and when you, where you know where pump's at, sets down below the ground level. You know what I'm talking
A
about?
little house, a little building up there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our pump
Yeah.
house. Right before you get to that, where the hillside curves around like this, there's a big hand wheel valve. That's our line.
Mhm.
And then it comes out of that pump, and it goes down the railroad tracks. It goes all the way down to the offset warehouse, or the shipping facility now. And then it goes across the front of the shipping facility to the lower gate, the lower security gate.
Down through the
Then it
park.
turns left, and there's a fire hydrant right on that corner. That fire hydrant is on our line, and it goes all the way down to the bridge, and then across the bridge.
It used to be there in the old parking lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Before they put the storage building in.
Yeah.
But is there only one pumping station
Yeah.
on that line?
Yes.
See, we can
So
grab
it's
you
just the one
some.
down there in that.
Down here outside the fire
little
center.
gully.
Yeah, it's actually, well, you walk by, if you come out of that back gate, you come up
Mhm.
out of that gate, them steps there, you walk right by it every time. But see, the mill maintained that pump and provided electricity for it for years. Then
Right,
about 10
right.
years ago, they completely rebuilt the pump and made us switch over to PE Power and said, it's yours now. We're not servicing it anymore. They maintained that pump and electricity for 100 years.
Now, that's because, see, we had that tie-in line at the filter plant. We used to give them water.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't give us any objections to that. But for what it's worth, when we're savvy, is where we take our water to our reservoir, that will gravity flow. But you don't get enough flow. That's why you need that booster pump. But it actually will gravity flow down there, but you don't get much out of it.
But you say it's on PE, so it's not.
Yeah, it's on
PE.
PE now, yeah.
Now,
Yeah, if you check your electric bills, you should, well, you might not be getting the bill now because it's not been running.
You haven't run it for 10
But I imagine you may get a minimum billing for it because it's meter, there's a meter set there, you know, unless you have it disconnected. But that was metered, that was put on the meter about 10 or 11 years ago. Yeah.
Supper time.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Good seeing you, Tom.
Summertime.
Good seeing you too, boy.
Okay, minutes from the previous meetings. Anyone just had a chance to look them over?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Minutes accepted. Okay, correspondence. Anybody got any correspondence? Nobody? I got a couple here. One of them we got from the Census Bureau. It's just on census properties on new construction programs. It says new construction programs are voluntary. Census Bureau strongly encourages your participation for the following reasons. Federal government allocates over $675 billion in federal funds actually for infrastructure programs and services based on Census Bureau data. With that paragraph that I just read is what we've been fighting for quite a while. Saying that all this services is based on the Census Bureau data. Well, you know, we've been fighting this thing for 4 years, and I got news the other day that they're not going to change the census locations for us in 2020. We may be able to get a letter from the Attorney General stating that we are under a different income status than what the Potomac, the Cumberland Valley is. But the fellow from Capito's office told me that he didn't think that we would get it changed. He said that we can keep trying, but he don't think that it's going to go forward. So that's where we're at with that. I'll leave this letter here, and if anyone wants to look at it, it's here. And I still strongly advise anyone in town to do their census. Okay. Let's see what stuff here. This is Region 8. I don't know who brought this in. I figure it was one of the guys on the fireworks committee, but it says, please be informed that there was a unanimous vote from the council members of the city of Piedmont to approve fireworks to be set off at the reservoir on July 13th, 2019 at the water plant road. Okay. And then there was this letter which everyone knows about that watches the news, that the mills went a month early. Then there's the Mineral County Convention and Visitors Bureau is asking for us to send a representative to them. And the CVB meets on the first Tuesday of every month. Meeting begins at 5:30 p.m. and are held in the conference room next door to the Chamber of Commerce. I invite you to select someone from the City Council to take part on the board. If any one of your council members is unable to join, you may select a volunteer to represent the municipality in the council's place. We have a couple of people that's lined up to volunteer for this on the council here, but I don't know if it's going to happen yet or not. But anyhow, that's about it. And this is the letter that I talked about from Verso that Daryl Seesaw Productions of its Luke Mill, Piedmont Warehouse, Burrowwood Yard, Limekiln, and related facilities, and terminate the employees of all employees at the affected locations effectively June the 30th. And they're going to slow down through to May the 30th on production on paper. Is that right, Paul? And this is signed Mark Singleton. Okay, that's about all the correspondence I got. Sure, I put something else. All right. Officers' reports. Paul?
I don't have anything.
Dawn?
I don't have anything to get to unfinished business.
That's what I'll come back to.
Bernie, you got anything?
Anything I got is, we did get up on Aaron Street, got that ditch open, got the culvert cleaned out, and flushed that fire hydrant.
There's one behind Billy's.
Yeah,
Oh, is it? They hadn't got that done?
Yeah, they did that.
Weeks ago.
we did it day after the last meeting.
Okay, Rick? Susie?
Well, when we had our meet the candidates night, they had said something about a block party for the kids.
Mhm.
So I was working with JT Wells and with Duckies. And I gotta get it on the agenda for the next meeting, but they're willing to work with me on doing a block party for the kids after school. Something like, they're thinking maybe around the 14th of June would be a good time. But gotta get on the agenda and get approved for it first.
Okay.
I've got some help.
Paul?
The pool's painted. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And she's got a new door on the,
There's a new door on the pump house. I had the electricians up today about looking at both the breaker boxes. See what else, somebody else was up. Concrete pool.
concrete
Yeah,
patching that's done.
Paul's doing the patching clear around the pool, so he said it'll be done tomorrow. So hopefully either the weekend or Monday, we'll start putting water into it, and I'm hoping to have an opening next Friday. We can't do it this Friday as planned, because we gotta get John Dale signal from the health department up to get a water sample before we can do anything, and we still got other work to be done. But like I said, it's painted, there's a new door on the pump house, chlorine's ordered. They're gonna call me back about the electrical boxes, so everything's moving smoothly with that. And I think it's okay to leave the prices the way they were, because everybody was satisfied with that last year. So did I give you a copy of that? People's already calling to reserve the pool. That's why you paid it yet. Yeah.
Did you ever find the old diving stand, the other one?
No,
Is it
he
another,
looked
is
for
it
it.
another building?
The one that's there, we got the diving, yeah, the new diving board's ordered. We took the old one off and that platform's fine, so. We'll get the diving board up.
What we talked about the other day on this across the street, does that need to be put on the agenda?
Probably so.
Okay.
I had one more thing I forgot. The bad buildings meeting's gonna be May the 30th, 6 o'clock, upstairs meeting.
May 30th?
Yeah,
That was announced last meeting, right?
yeah, but I'll remind everybody,
Okay.
What time?
6 o'clock.
Okay. You got anything else, Paul? I would look at, ask if, Monday's a holiday.
Oh, that's right.
Should we start filling that pool Friday night?
If it stays hot, we can, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be on
Well, Monday's a holiday, and
Yeah.
it's gonna take another day off.
Yeah, that's right, I forgot about that.
I'll check with Tim
Depends on
and
which line.
tomorrow and see if he's gonna, want this weekend off. If he does, I have no problem doing it Saturday and Sunday as
And
well.
like I said, John left, but he helped last year with it, didn't he,
Yeah.
filling it and turning it off?
Yeah,
I don't think he'd have a problem with it either.
I can stop and ask him.
Okay. Cops. Yeah, I forgot all about Monday being a holiday.
Well, I just thought about it too. It's
Going around down there.
Well, like I said, it's been all day today.
I can bring her around
All
one
day
more,
tomorrow.
underneath them cars.
Okay, I just didn't want it.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'll check with Tim in the
Thank you.
morning. He had to leave a little early today because his son had to go to the emergency room. So I asked him in the morning when he clocks in, if he wants me to work, I can do it Saturday and Sunday, that's no problem.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can help out Saturday during the day. My grandmother has a recital at 4 o'clock, I believe. I'll be going at 3 o'clock. I'll help out until then.
Cool.
Okay, please report.
Alright, I'm happy to announce that in the last week we had a little bit of a bust over there on Jones Street. Recovered narcotics and paraphernalia, specifically fentanyl. For y'all don't know, fentanyl is pretty deadly, about 100 times more powerful than morphine. Got about a chapstick full of it. Luckily the trooper that was interacting with the gentleman before with it didn't touch or anything mess with it, because you can easily overdose on it. Radios, the issue's mostly fixed. We do have better reception. We can get out a lot more better. We can hear them more clear. It's a lot better than before, and that's about it.
Radio's working a lot better, huh?
Yes, sir. We can actually hear traffic. So now, because last one incident I had, there was a shooting incident over there in Fort Ashby, and didn't know if an officer got shot or a civilian, so they kept breaking in and out. I had to actually get a hold of dispatch person on the cell phone to find out what was going on in case I needed to go up there and provide backup. So, but now we can actually hear the traffic, and it's pretty good overall. Sometimes we still have hit and miss some areas, but
Well, there's gonna be some tweaking.
yeah. But besides that, it's it's a blessing having a lot of the better reception.
Okay, good.
I'm not gonna-
All right, unfinished business, fees for the pool and permit for concession.
That's paper. Last week I had, my health department fees, it's $100 for the permit for the pool,
Yeah.
and 100.
Huh?
It was 100 for the concession stand. I just wanna, okay to pay them fees, and get us up to date with our permits.
I'll make a motion for the fees for the permit. One second.
All in favor? Okay. Pay fees. Is that all there is to that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dawn, I guess the next one is, Shayla Llewellyn Winning and Donnie Fleming's water.
Yeah, Donnie's was outside in the yard, they had to dig it up and do that, so his should be brought back to what his normal fee is, right?
And,
And the other one is Shayla, she needs hers adjusted apparently, she didn't know about, and they had it fixed, now it needs adjusted. Guess it would be a normal adjustment that she usually does.
yeah, I'd say so, but from what I understand, that leak was in the basement also.
Was that one in the basement?
I believe they were Shayla. Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, she said it was a basement toilet that they never used, so it'll be adjusted accordingly,
But will they take it all off like they do Donnie's, or?
probably not.
Because it was able to be seen, it just wasn't right.
We'll see.
Okay,
So Shayla is
she gets a normal,
normal
yeah,
and Donnie Paul gets total.
yeah.
I make a motion, we give the adjustments to Donnie and Shayla as discussed here with Dawn.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll adjust the bills.
Do you need these back? Thank you.
Okay, next thing is for you, I guess, Paul, IRS payments and balance.
Yeah, we signed a new installment agreement with the IRS. Our balance now, they've waived some of the fees and the interest and penalties, is now down to $19,546 and some cents. And also lowered our payment to $815, so that's considerably lower than what it was.
Okay. New business, election results.
Okay. Monday, the 20th, we canvassed the votes here in the office. Everything came out as it was supposed to. So we had to wait 48 hours, which is today, to certify the votes. So I have to read. The Board of Canvassers of the County of Mineral, having carefully and impartially examined the returns of the election held in the District of Piedmont of said county on the 22nd day of May, do hereby certify that in said county for the office of mayor, Paula Boggs received 93 votes and Denny Powers received 21 votes. And we further certify that at said election held in the District of Piedmont in the said county for the office of council, Paul Coleman received.
Who made possum out here?
Yeah, we know, there's a few.
Paul Coleman received 118 votes, Susie Clark received 96 votes, and Don Beckner received 76 votes. Paul Coleman and Susie Clark will serve the 4-year term, with Don Beckner serving the 2-year term. And then there's the certificates of election and nomination for each of the council members. And this board canvassers has to be signed. And the officers have to be, and they don't start their terms till July 1st, but they have to be sworn in a 20-day time frame. So I'd like to make a motion that we have our next meeting on Tuesday, June 4th, instead of Wednesday, June 5th. That would be the 20th day, and we can have the swearing in at the meeting. So I make a motion, we have our meeting on June 4th to do the swearing in of the officers in a 20-day time period frame.
I second it.
Is everybody okay with that time?
What time is it?
Regular time, but just the meeting's gonna be Tuesday instead of Wednesday.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
so we're not gonna have a meeting on the 12th?
Oh, is it the 12th?
Yeah, because it's the second.
Oh, shoot. Well, we have to have swearing in before that.
So do we even have to have a meeting for that? Can we just be here this morning,
Yeah,
just be here
yeah.
and continue our meeting on the 12th?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the 1st. Cause we're 5.
So what day we talking?
Just mess with us.
Just to mess with us. Hey, never mind.
So we'll
I
still,
guess we'll just
Never
have
mind, we're gonna have another day, or never, we're not gonna have it.
Still June,
we'll do our swearing in on the 4th, but we'll still have our regular meeting on the 12th. What time can everybody be here? I can be here anytime.
That'll be up in the air for me with the mill closing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Sounds good
that's,
for you.
Well, actually,
What'd you say,
anytime.
It doesn't have to be at June 4th now, since it can be any time in the next 20 days.
Up to.
Is there a day that's good for anybody else? Or just wait till we see that.
I would wait till we see, because
Okay.
June's, they're gonna be closing.
Yeah.
Some people will stop working the 31st. Maintenance, I'm in maintenance, we'll be working through June.
We have extra.
And as far as overtime, I
Extra
have no idea what
follow-ups.
that means.
Extra
So,
follow-ups.
I'm gonna be closing the mill down,
Excuse me, sir.
so, I don't know what to tell you, I can't say yea or nay.
you'll know after the 31st though?
I'll know a little bit more after the 31st.
Okay, well, let's just go ahead and keep it set for June 4th.
Until, unless otherwise necessary.
Well, we can move it up to even 7 o'clock. Would that help any?
I'm not sure about that. Let's say it might be
We'll just
16
set
hour
for June
days.
4th, and we'll pick a time when you can tell us what time.
Yeah, let's just do that. I think that works better for me.
Okay.
All right, we need a motion to move the days. So we get a
We're not
second.
moving
No,
it
we're
now.
not moving. We're just.
I was wrong on the dates.
Okay, so
This is just another, we're just meeting to be sworn in now. And the meeting, actual meeting's not till June 12th.
okay.
I was counting next Wednesday as a 2 weeks to the. My bad.
So we don't need a.
No,
So the June, the
June
next-
4th will just be a swearing in.
I don't have to post anything, right? That's all I'm gonna
No,
know.
we just have to be sworn in the 20
That's
20-day
fine.
time frame.
Did you want to be notified for the paper or something?
I can come down. That is a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a number?
I got
Yeah,
a number.
Okay.
I have to- I
Check
got
it
you.
up with you if it's changed.
Okay, yeah, because if it's changed from 6, instead of just being in and out.
Okay.
Okay.
Will this meeting have to be advertised?
It's not even.
It's not a meeting, it's just a swearing in. I'll call Lauren tomorrow to make sure.
That's good. Okay.
I'll wait on you then.
Okay. I'll call Lauren tomorrow, see if that's. All right.
Well, the next meeting's going to be June the 12th then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
All right.